palace of the south rose like a dream carved from the bones of the oldest mountains, its white gold ramparts gleaming beneath the noon sun. For centuries it had been the seat of the Harker bloodline, kings and queens whose banners once commanded the breadth of the southern realms. Its spires pierced the sky like lances, their tips crowned with shimmering crystal orbs that caught the light and scattered it across the city in cascading rainbows. As one approached, the palace revealed its enormity. Terraced gardens spilling with blood-red lilies and moon-white blossoms, marble statues of former rulers standing sentinel along the outer promenade, and fountains shaped like serpents and swans whose waters glimmered with enchantments long forgotten. The great hallway of sovereigns awaited within. Stepping through the entrance arch, a towering crescent of ivory stone etched with the deeds of the Harker kings. One entered a corridor so vast it swallowed sound whole. Columns of veined marble, each carved in the likeness of a southern ancestor, lined the hall like an army of silent guardians. Their eyes, inlaid with obsidian, seemed to follow all who passed. Above, the ceiling soared in a canopy of gold-leafed panels, each depicting a scene from the South's most triumphant legends. The taming of the sun serpent, the rise of Catherine the Radiant, the forging of the Southern Crown. Light from high windows spilled across the polished floor in long shafts, illuminating the swirling mosaic beneath. A map of the Southern realm laid in stone. The air carried a hush of reverence, a kingdom's history pressed against every surface. At the far end stood the grand obsidian doors, 20 men tall, carved from a single slab drawn from the black bluffs. The doors shimmered with an oil-slick sheen, their surface etched with the ancient sigils of pact and dominion. Scenes of coronation, war, and divine blessing spiraled across them in intricate relief, each line catching the faint glow of the torches. Between the carvings, a faint pulse of shadow moved, a remnant of the enchantments set upon the doors in ages past. They were the threshold between the mortal realm of men and the council chamber where rulers shaped the world. The obsidian doors glowed open like the maw of some ancient beast, spilling red furnace-like light into the council chamber. What had once, under King Alistair Harker, been a place of reason and order, now stank faintly of rust and old blood. Vaigar Valkray entered without ceremony. Every minister rose at once, not to honor him, to survive him. At his flanks drifted two greenseers, Ismara Vel and Kareth Thorn, their faces marked by seeping lines of fungal corruption, their eyes glowing with the murky green of something not wholly mortal. "Sit," Vaigar commanded. They obeyed. The long table, scarred by his past rages, stretched before them. At the far end lay the shattered remains of the former king's chair, Alistair's seat of rule, splintered as if crushed beneath a titan's hand. The ministers exchanged uneasy glances. Lord Merrick Haldren, Minister of Coin; Lady Arindra Calwyn, Grain and Agriculture; Lord Thane Marrowhall, Public Works; Archivist Joran Wells, Realm Records. All of them carried the battered look of people who slept lightly, waiting for the sound that meant their lives had ended. Merrick Haldren rose first, wiping sweat from his brow. "My lord, the realm bleeds coin. The seizure of the donor districts has collapsed voluntary blood offering. The captive stock produces blood that is thin, sickly. Malnutrition weakens the mortal herds." Vaigar's gaze sharpened. "You imply my decree was unwise?" "Not unwise, my lord, only that under King Aelist—" The stone beneath Vaigar's hand cracked sharply. "Say his name again," Vaigar murmured without raising his voice, "and I will peel your memories from your skull." Merrick fell silent at once. Lady Arindra rose next, voice tentative. "If we return to compensated voluntary donors, as during Alist, during the previous reign the quality would rise. Towns starve, lesser villages refuse deliveries. People whisper of the old days when Kareth Thorn, the older green seer, tilted her head. Let them starve. Hunger prunes rebellion. Monstrous, Lord Marrowhall muttered before he could stop himself. This was once a kingdom of prosperity. Alistair cared for his people. We all remember the radiant queen walking the harvest fields. The world was better before. Vaigar slammed his gauntlet into the table. The chamber shook as if struck by a falling mountain. Candles guttered. Marrowhall staggered back, nearly collapsing. "Do not compare me," Vaigar snarled, "to the man who held what should have been mine." His voice twisted, carrying a depth of grief and rage that made every candle's flame bend toward him. "I served the Pantheon with loyalty. I kept order in their name. And when I loved Catherine, Eliandor's perfect creation, they cast me out like filth. And when I returned to her," his jaw clenched, "she turned from me." He rose slowly. They rejected me, and her husband stole her heart. Do not invoke their memory in my presence. No one dared move. Even Ismera Vel, usually unflinching, kept her gaze lowered. "Disband," Vaigar said at last, voice low and dangerous. "Your trembling bores me." The ministers scrambled out of the room, practically tripping over one another in their haste. Only the greenseers remained, drifting behind Vaigar like carrion birds. Their sanctum lay deep beneath the palace, a place of rot, prophecy, and unspeakable craft. Vaigar entered to the scent of damp earth and burning roots. Shelves bowed under jars filled with twitching things. Symbols were carved into the stone, pulsing faintly. A cauldron of green fire roared at the center, its surface swirling like a living eye. Ismera and Kareth bowed. "My lord," Kareth said, lifting a claw-thin finger toward the flames. "There is grave news." Images churned within the fire. Arden Creel fleeing the burning city. Viserys howling in defeat. Lightning arcing from the heavens. And Delphina, radiant and unbroken, standing amidst ruin. "Verath's soulbane has been taken," Ismera whispered. And Delphina, Iliandor's daughter, wielded the sky's fury and lived. Vaigar's expression hardened into something cold and calculating. So the little prophetess dares to touch the storms of the gods. Worse, Kareth continued, voice shaking slightly. She did not merely survive. She cast Viserys' attack into ruin. No mortal has ever... "Delphina," Vaigar murmured, tasting the name like something exquisite. "If Eliandor cherishes her, then breaking her will be sweeter than shattering a star. I want her alive." The greenseers exchanged a nervous glance. "My lord," Ismera whispered, "you must hear the rest, for we have seen your fate." Vaigar turned toward her slowly. "Speak." "You fall," she whispered, "struck by Verath's soulbane, and the hand that carries the dagger is, say it, Sofia Harker." The chamber went silent. He lunged, seizing Ismera by the throat. Her body lifted from the floor, kicking, strangled gasps echoing off the stone. "Mortals do not slay gods," Vaigar roared. "I will tear the fate from your tongue." Kareth rushed forward. "My lord, listen! There is another path." Vaigar froze, eyes burning like molten ore. Kareth pressed closer, voice low and urgent. "We have also seen your triumph, your throne reclaimed, a pantheon broken upon your wrath, and at your side, a queen." Vaigar stilled. "A queen," he echoed softly. "You mean—" "Sofia," Kareth whispered. "The kingdom still yearns for her. They call her the Lost Harker. She is Catherine's mirror, the radiant queen reborn. If she takes the Godkiller, you will not die. You will become unstoppable. Slowly, Vaigar released Ismera. She collapsed to the floor, coughing, clutching her bruised throat. Something feverish lit Vaigar's eyes. Catherine returned to me, he whispered, through her daughter. Claim Sofia, Kareth urged. Bind her to you. She will strengthen your throne and break her father's loyalists. And when Varath Soulbane is yours, Eliandor will kneel. Vaigar shuddered, not with fear, with anticipation. What do the flames show now? He demanded. Kareth dipped her hand into the green fire. Visions swirled violently. A cabin, deep in the woods. Sophia, Jamie, a spark of destiny shared. She is in the forest, Kareth breathed, waiting. You can take her by nightfall. Vaigar straightened, armor groaning like an ancient beast waking. Send my riders, he commanded. Alive. Sophia Harker must be brought to me untouched. He paused at the doorway, a smile cutting across his face. At last, the gods will bleed for what they took from me. His voice dropped to a whisper of dark triumph. Revenge will be magnificent.